Have you ever felt like you were giving your all in a relationship, but still not being taken seriously by him? Like no matter how much you love, support, and stay loyal, he still sees you as something temporary. It's not always about how much you give. Sometimes it's about what you withhold, because the truth is, the more available you are to him, the less he values your presence. The more you explain yourself, the less he listens. And the more you chase his attention, the more he turns away. There is a quiet power, a subtle power, that speaks louder than anything you say. And once you understand it, everything changes. Because the moment a woman starts honoring herself, without needing to be loud, without needing to prove anything, that is the moment he starts to see her differently. He starts to take her seriously. As Epictetus once said, know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly. Most women try to dress their love with kindness, with loyalty, with patience. But what if the real power is in restraint? What if the energy that makes him stop and pay attention is not found in doing more, but in doing less with deeper intention? Imagine a still lake at sunrise, calm, untouched, reflecting beauty without effort. You can't help but stop and stare. That is what your presence should feel like to him. Not something desperate, not something chasing, but something he cannot ignore. In relationships, a woman often believes that love is about sacrifice, about being everything he needs. But when that effort is not met with respect, with appreciation, with clarity, it starts to feel like emptiness. And that emptiness, it begins to hollow her out. You were not born to feel invisible in love. There comes a time when you stop chasing love and start commanding respect, not with force, not with anger, but with your silence, with your boundaries, with your peace. That's the moment when he finally realizes, you are not just any woman. You are becoming something more, something he didn't expect, something he can't control. That's the moment you stop being the girl who waited and start living as the queen he cannot replace. Gentle soul, your softness is your strength, not your weakness. Your quiet distance is not coldness, it's clarity. Your time, your energy, your heart. It is not for the man who plays with it. It is for the one who respects it. And that, beautiful woman, is the subtle power that will make him take you seriously. If this message touched something deep inside you, if it reminded you of the power you've always had but may have forgotten, then show your love by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. We are working hard to create content that speaks to your heart, lifts your spirit, and reminds you that you were never meant to settle. You were meant to rise, to heal, and to reign. Number 1. He stops taking you for granted the moment you stop making him your world. Have you ever noticed how he only starts to pay attention when you pull away? How he suddenly wants to talk, check in, and ask questions the moment you stop making him the center of your world? It's strange, isn't it? The more love you give, the less he seems to see it. But the moment you stop giving everything, he starts to feel the loss. That's not just timing. That's the subtle power of knowing when to step back. And once you learn how to hold that power with grace, everything changes. He doesn't take you seriously when you make him your everything. When your world spins around his time, his mood, his attention, he gets too comfortable. He forgets the effort. He stops showing up the way he once did. But when you shift that focus, when you pour that love back into yourself, that's when he starts to see you differently. As Epictetus once said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. That means, yes, he might not get it at first. He might think you're pulling away. Let him, because your distance isn't coldness. It's clarity. It's self-respect. Think of a candle in a dark room. When it's right in front of him, he barely notices the glow. But take it away, and suddenly the room is filled with darkness. That's when he realizes how much light it gave. You were always that light. He just needed the dark to recognize it. In a relationship, making him your whole world might feel like love, but if he's not doing the same, it becomes imbalance. And that imbalance grows into frustration, into resentment, into silence. You start losing yourself while trying to keep him. But the moment you stop, the moment you reclaim your time, your peace, your worth, he feels the shift, he feels the loss. And for the first time, he sees the woman he thought would never leave. Start building a world without him in it. This is not about playing games. This is about living as a woman who values herself enough not to beg to be seen. Because once he sees that you don't need him to breathe, that's when he realizes he could actually lose you. That's the moment he takes you seriously. Beautiful lady, your world is too rich to shrink for a man who didn't appreciate it. Your love is too rare to be handed out without care. You are not lost. You are rising. Write this in the comments and claim it. I stopped making him my world, and now he sees my worth. Queens, if this truth spoke to your soul, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to bring you powerful, life-changing lessons that remind you your love is valuable, but you are the prize. Number 2, the moment you stop over-explaining, he starts listening. Why is it that the more you try to explain your feelings to him, the less he seems to hear you? Why is it that the more you speak from your heart, the more distant he becomes? It's because sometimes the loudest message a woman can give is no message at all. Silence, distance, and peace speak volumes where words begin to lose meaning. The moment you stop trying to convince him is the moment he begins to feel your worth. You've been trying to make him understand your love. You've repeated yourself in texts, in conversations, in tears. You've tried to explain how deeply you feel, how badly you wanted him to see your heart. But he didn't. He heard the words, but he didn't feel them. Why? Because when a woman over-explains, she sounds uncertain. And when you sound uncertain, he stops taking your voice seriously. There is a quiet strength in saying less, in letting your energy speak for itself. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one." That's what you must do in love too. Stop explaining your worth and start living it. Think of a beautiful lighthouse. It doesn't scream to be noticed. It simply stands, bright, strong, constant. And because of that, it guides ships even in the darkest storms. You too are that light. But when you talk too much, beg too much, prove too much, he starts seeing you as noise, not guidance. But when you go quiet, when you let your actions, your absence, your boundaries speak, that is when he hears you loud and clear. A woman who knows who she is does not over-explain. She doesn't need to argue for space in a man's heart. She doesn't beg for clarity, because she is clarity. And when a man finally realizes the silence means she's done trying, he begins to listen, to reflect, to feel the loss. That is the subtle power that will make him take you seriously. You don't have to shout to be heard. You don't have to explain to be understood. You are becoming something stronger now, not louder, just more certain. This is the shift where everything changes. This is where the woman who once begged becomes the woman who reigns. Queens, write this affirmation in the comments and claim it. My silence holds more power than my words. Let the world know you're done over-explaining, done chasing, done repeating yourself to be loved. We are working hard to create content that lifts you up and reminds you you were never meant to explain your worth. You were meant to be it. Number 3. The more you tolerate, the less he respects. Have you ever wondered why the more you give, the less he values it? Why the more you forgive, the more he repeats the same mistakes? Why every time you stay quiet about the things that hurt you, he just pushes the line a little further? It's not because he's unaware, it's because he's watching. Watching what you allow, watching what you accept. And every time you let it slide, he learns that your heart is his playground. There's a hidden truth many women ignore. What you tolerate becomes the blueprint for how he treats you. Not because you're weak, but because you're kind. But that kindness, if it goes unguarded, it starts to look like permission. And the moment your patience turns into silence, he stops respecting it. Seneca once said, "If you wish to be loved, love yourself first." That includes protecting your heart, your time, and your dignity. Because if you keep allowing him to cross the line without consequences, he will stop seeing your worth. And the most painful part? He won't even realize what he's doing until you're no longer there. Imagine a beautiful painting hanging in a room. At first, he stares in awe. Every detail, every color, every inch. He notices it all, but over time, as he walks past it every day, he stops looking. He gets used to it. He forgets how rare it is until the day it's gone, and the wall is empty, and the silence is loud. That's what happens when a woman who tolerated too much finally disappears. It hits him like a storm he never saw coming. In a relationship, a man begins to take a woman seriously when she stops trying to keep the peace at the cost of her own. When she draws a line. When she says, "Not this time." That's when the respect begins. Not when you cry, not when you beg, but when you rise. You weren't born to be walked over, lovely woman. You were born to rise, to rule, to reign. He disrespected you because he thought you wouldn't leave, but now he will learn that you were the storm he never prepared for. Write this in the comments and claim your power. My limits teach him how to treat me. We are working hard to bring you truth, strength, and life-changing lessons. Because your power is not in how much you give. Your power is in how much you refuse to accept what breaks you. Number 4. When you stop being his safety net, he learns to stand on his own. Have you ever noticed how a man will lean on you like a crutch until you step away and watch him stumble? Until you stop catching his every fall, cleaning up every mess, saving him from the weight of his own choices. You became his comfort, his backup plan, the steady place he could always return to, even when he didn't treat you right. But the truth is, as long as you keep being his safety net, he will never take you seriously. He won't rise because he never had to. You kept him safe from consequences, and now it's time to stop. There's a quiet strength in walking away, not with rage, not with drama, but with self-respect. And when you do that, he is forced to meet himself. No more soft landings, no more second chances, just the echo of your absence and the pressure of his own actions. That's the subtle power, the shift he never expected. You were the hand that held him up. Now, you are the mirror that reflects who he really is without you. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You can't control what he does, but you can control what you allow. And when you stop allowing him to take you for granted, when you stop showing up every time he falls, he'll finally be forced to grow or stay exactly where he is, without you. Think of a bird that always gets fed by hand. It never learns to fly. It waits, it depends. But the moment it's left on its own, something changes. It either rises or it doesn't. You've been feeding him love, comfort, support. You've been keeping him afloat. But queens are not caretakers of boys who refuse to become men. You are not his mother. You are not his savior. You are not his shelter. You are a force, and forces don't shrink. He expected you to stay, to keep picking him up. But now, you are done handing out second chances like candy. You are not the background of his story. You are the chapter he can't rewrite. Kind-hearted woman, This is where everything changes. The moment you stop catching him, he learns to either stand tall or fall without you. Write this in the comments and claim it. I am not his safety net, I am his wake-up call. Let it be known, queens, your patience is not weakness, your love is not obligation, and your power. It's in walking away without a word. If this message reminded you of your strength, of the power you've always held inside, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you life-changing lessons, because you were never meant to beg for love. You were meant to reign. Number 5. Your mystery is more powerful than your availability. Have you ever wondered why he was once so obsessed, but now he barely notices? Why his energy shifted the moment you made yourself fully available? The answer isn't in what you gave, it's in what you stopped holding back. Because the truth is, mystery makes a man lean in, but constant availability, it makes him turn away. When you're always there, always answering, always showing up for him no matter what, you stop being rare. And the moment a woman stops being rare, she stops being seen. The more you explain yourself, the more you give him access without asking for effort, the more he forgets your value. But when you start pulling your energy back, not to punish, not to play games, but to protect your peace, that's when he begins to notice the shift. That's when the curiosity begins. That's when the chase starts again. She who holds back her light is not hiding. It's the world that must earn her glow. Imagine a candle in the dark. When it burns non-stop, it becomes background light. But when it flickers just once in the silence, in the shadows, it pulls the eyes. It demands attention. You, dear woman, are that flame. You don't have to burn for him every moment. You don't have to give all of yourself to be loved. Because mystery doesn't mean distance, it means value. And value is what makes a man take you seriously. You've done the overgiving, you've done the proving, you were always available, always saying yes, always trying to be enough. And still, he looked past you. But now you hold your presence like gold. Now your silence is louder than your words. That subtle shift, from always being there to only being where you're respected, is the very thing that wakes him up. He does not chase what is easy. He respects what he can't quite figure out. You are not here to be explained. You are here to be experienced. And when you carry yourself with that quiet confidence, that grace, that mystery, he will take notice. He will take you seriously. You're no longer waiting by the phone. You're not trying to be seen. Because now, you are living. You are glowing. You are walking in the power of a woman who doesn't need attention to know her worth. That is what makes you unforgettable. That is what makes him pause. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. My mystery is my power. Let the world know you are done over-explaining, done chasing, done proving. You are rising in silence, and he will feel every bit of it. We are working hard to bring you life-changing lessons, because you were never meant to beg. You were meant to reign. Number 6. A woman who demands nothing holds the most power. Why is it that the moment you stop asking for his attention, his effort, his commitment, suddenly he starts offering it? Why does he begin to notice you only when you fall silent? The answer is simple but powerful. A woman who demands nothing becomes unforgettable. When you no longer chase his energy, his love, his time, you stop being an option and you start being a mystery he can't solve. There's a kind of strength that doesn't need to raise its voice. There's a kind of presence that doesn't need to ask for space. It creates it. And when a woman understands this, she becomes a force no man can ignore. She no longer explains. She no longer proves. She no longer waits for him to see her. She simply lives. And in that silence, in that calm, in that peace, he starts to listen. As Lao Tzu said, mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. When you no longer need to demand anything from him, you show him something rare. You don't need him, you choose him. That's the difference, and that is what shakes him at his core. Imagine walking through a garden of roses. One flower doesn't shout to be picked. It doesn't beg to be chosen. It simply blooms, fully, quietly, unapologetically. And yet, your eyes can't help but stop and admire it. That's what your energy becomes when you stop forcing love and start honoring yourself. He sees it, he feels it, and suddenly he understands. You are not like the rest. In relationships, a woman often believes that love means giving endlessly. But real love begins when she starts giving to herself first, when she no longer needs to remind him of her worth, when she stops asking him to be better and starts becoming better for herself. That is when the shift happens. That is when he takes her seriously. You were never meant to beg for love. You were meant to receive it with grace or walk away with dignity. This is the moment you stop trying to be heard and become impossible to ignore. So, beautiful woman, write this in the comments and claim it. I demand nothing. I am everything. Let it echo across your soul. Let it remind you that you are not powerless. You are the power itself. And queens, if this message spoke to your heart, if it reminded you of the quiet fire that's always lived inside you, like this video, we are working hard to bring you life-changing lessons because you were never meant to chase, you were born to reign. Number 7. He only takes you seriously when you stop making him your priority. Why is it that the moment you give him everything, he starts giving you less? The more you try, the more distant he becomes. You call, you care, you give, but instead of pulling him closer, it pushes him away. It feels unfair, it feels confusing, but here's the truth. When you make him your world, he forgets your worth. When your days revolve around him, he stops seeing you as rare. The subtle power that makes him take you seriously doesn't come from what you give. It comes from what you protect. He does not value what he thinks he owns. He values what he believes he could lose. And when you begin putting yourself first, not out of anger, not to play games, but because your peace matters, his entire view of you shifts. You are no longer the woman chasing him. You are the woman he can't reach. And suddenly, your silence speaks louder than your affection ever did. A powerful quote says, "When you stop watering what drains you, you begin to bloom." You don't stop loving, you start loving wisely. And when he sees that your attention is no longer guaranteed, that your love isn't something he can take for granted, that's when he begins to truly take you seriously. Imagine a flower that blooms only under the right light. If he wants to see your light, he must bring the warmth, not the cold. And if he fails to do that, you grow without him. Because your growth is not tied to who stays, it's tied to who respects your presence. You weren't born to shrink just to be loved. You weren't created to make a man feel comfortable while you slowly lose yourself. When you stop making him your priority, you become your own. And in that quiet shift, everything changes. Dear woman, you are not cold for choosing yourself. You are not wrong for stepping back. You are not selfish for making space for your own joy. That is not weakness. That is royalty in motion. That is what begins the reign of a queen. Now is your time to claim it. Say this aloud and write it in the comments. I am no longer his option. I am my own priority. Let the world hear you. Let your energy shift. Let your presence speak. Queens, if this message stirred something inside you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here working hard to create life-changing lessons because you were never meant to beg. You were meant to reign.